Hello again and welcome to the Mordian Glory Battle Report, and today guys we have something very exciting for you. It's a new army reveal. The Death Korp of Krieg are now finally finished and they will be here today to crush some heretical Astartes. Let's go.
It's very hard for me to accuse. I love to accuse Tim of heresy, and let's face it, you all know if you watch these back reps on a regular that he's the heretical one.
Well, look, just
in this partnership.
The Emperor has 4 arms, man. Like, this is just the truth now.
It's really difficult, to say that the GC could have actually got inside the Death Korp because they are so damn loyal.
That's true, but
maybe I'm the truth.
What's underneath those gas masks?
That's true.
So
you don't try and deny it. Sorry, carry on.
So, just so you guys know, this Death Korp army, it's been painted up in the same colours as my Armageddon Steel Legion, because that way I can use the tanks from the Steel Legion for the Death Korp, I can use the infantry from the Death Korp for the Steel Legion. Just means that I now have a lot of gas mask boys, looking at almost 200 men with gas masks. So, we're not mucking around anymore.
That's a theme.
We're not mucking around. So, we'll go through the army now and we'll get some nice close-ups of some of the units. So, we'll start off with the new infantry, and we have 9 units today, and these are all going to be Death Korp Grenadiers. Now I know these are the regular infantry model, but unfortunately Forge World doesn't actually sell Grenadier models anymore, so you basically have to use regular infantry, but as long as you're being consistent across the army like I am, everything's a Grenadier. It's no problem.
No, I insist, Tim. It's fine. You don't need to take all Grenadiers.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm now playing 180 points down. So yeah, I've spoken about this on the channel. I think Death Korp Grenadiers could potentially be a bit of a hidden gem for the Guard. You're paying 2 points more over a regular Guardsman. You're getting a 4-up save. You're getting a Lasgun that is actually worth a damn, and you're ignoring leadership from shooting. It's just and your shooting is better on a 3+. It's just there's a lot of buffs for 2 points.
If you have to look at compressed carbon on a scale of value, you've got your Mordians, which are coal, and then these guys, which could well be a diamond in the rough. I'm really excited to face the Krieg. It is like, just if you're facing Guard, I would say like this is the pinnacle of your Guard collection. Like if you're a serious Guard collector, in my eyes, you need some Krieg detachment in there. Do you know what I mean? At one point in your life, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not 10 years from now, but you need to get on the Krieg because they are so badass and they're so exclusive. It's like a club, isn't it? It's like being part of the Krieg club.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully they'll still be around. Games Workshop keeps sort of stripping units away, so a few years time this might be like Krieg. Who are they? Like,
you've got the workings of you've got everything you need, all the working components.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be fine.
Exactly. Now, just to say a big thank you to Garsman Varney, who's been a long time supporter of the channel. He actually provided all of the Death Korp infantry here today. Absolutely extremely generous. He's been supporting the channel for a really, really long time, and
so cool.
Extremely cool. So I just
no one's questioning his loyalty.
No one's questioning his loyalty, unless he's like a deep agent genius occultist in deep cover. But I just want to say again, it's absolute thank you, because that level of support, we do really appreciate it, and it's difficult to put into words, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the channel. We don't monetize. We don't ask for likes or subscribes. You can watch any video. We've never asked for anything.
No adverts or anything.
Nothing like that. So it's really like above and beyond anything you could expect to get a Krieg army in the post.
I know.
Paint this up and put it on the channel.
I know, it's absolutely insane. Absolute legend. So that's where all the infantry came from. And we also have some obviously character stuff, but we'll go through the list now. So we've got 9 units of Grenadiers. Each one of those just got a hotshot lasgun. Guess what, guys? If you collect Krieg, your sergeant could take lasguns again. So it's just another win. Regular Guard sergeants can't do it. Apparently everyone's an officer and a gentleman in the Guard. Pistol and sword. We've then got 5 Lehman Russes. Now we have 3 tank commanders. I'm not mucking around today, guys. Not mucking around. And we've got 2 with the Executioner plasma cannon, and both of those have also got a whole heavy bolter and a couple of Sponson plasma cannons. And then we have the 3rd tank commander who's just running a battle cannon, a heavy bolter, 2 plasma cannons, and I had a few points left over, so I took a storm bolter. I do normally run this as the Hammer of Sunderance, but as this is, as Games Workshop has kind of said, we don't like people taking the Vigilist attachments anymore. I'm just running it as a regular battle cannon today, so it's all right. Last but not least, we have another Krieg special here. We have 2 Lehman Russ Conquerors. Now these are actually the Mars Alpha pattern Lehman Russes, and they are the only ones, as far as I'm aware, that can still take the Conqueror turret, and that's represented by these stubby little barrels. Now for anyone who's unsure what the Conqueror does, it is like a regular battle cannon, so strength 8, AP -2, D3 damage, but it's only got a 48-inch range, but it comes with an inbuilt Storm Bolter, and if you are within Storm Bolter range, it means that the main turret gets to re-roll all its hits. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, Tracerfire, it's cool.
Exactly. You basically mark the target with the Storm Bolter, and then the cannon goes in. Only affects the cannon, doesn't affect the other weapons. And to keep it consistent, we've got both of these guys with hull heavy bolters and sponson plasma. So there's a lot of firepower in these tanks, but a lot of blast weapons. So if Johnny can tag them, he's going to still be shutting them down, so no change there between 8th and 9th for my army. Now, just to finish the army off, we've got a couple of mortar teams. Just thought you can't really have a Krieg army without a little bit of indirect fire, so we took a couple of mortar teams. We then have a Quartermaster with his retinue, so that's just represented by this guy with his data slate and these 2 chaps. Now obviously these are medical servitors really, but I just like the fact that they all look really cool together. And we finally have 3 marshals, and the one over here with the orc head will be the warlord for today. Nothing special there, they've just got las pistol and chainsword. Should say, if you're not familiar with what the Quartermaster does, guys, he basically has a 6-inch feel no pain bubble. So everyone who's in 6 inches of him will get 6 up to ignore a wound. That's really cool. So overall, guys, we've got 90 infantry, 5 tanks, couple of support squads, and then about 4 characters. So there we go. Now I have put this army into 2 battalions, just because if I was only running a single battalion, I wouldn't have access to enough infantry to screen the tanks, and I don't really personally like taking, I know someone will put down in the comment section, consider a brigade. I don't really like taking tax units like Sentinels. I'd rather spend a few CP rather than spend 150 points on some Sentinels.
It's very... On paper it seems obvious to take a brigade, but in real terms when you're playing 9th now, and I've been very, very fortunate to cram in, I think 12 games of 9th in like 2 weeks, so it's easy to say take a brigade, but the tax units, things are so expensive now. It's not like 8th where an army would have everything that it needed to do like 1 or even 2 huge combos going on like in the game, but now you kind of have smaller, more balanced lists, and so taking stuff you don't need in that, it really, really adds up and really, really sort of reduces the efficiency when you're actually in game. So it's definitely worth, just going for the battalion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best to have less than more, because I so desperately want more Blood Angels characters, but at the moment I'm not doing.
Yeah, so that's the list. New on the channel, I've never actually played with them before, so the first time that I'm going to use them. So hopefully New Army Syndrome won't be in play, and I actually will get to shoot something without my entire army falling apart. But let's see what they're going up against today. A couple of other bits I should have said. I'm not taking a Warlord trait today. Instead, I'm taking a Tank Ace, and I've spent another command point pre-game to take another Tank Ace, and both of these Plasma Boys are going to have the slow and purposeful Tank Ace trait, which means if they move half distance, they reroll 1s to wound. So with a couple of orders going off, these guys could be rerolling 1s to hit and wound, which is pretty powerful. My relic for today, really interesting. With my Mordians, I know what relic I'm going to take every time. It's like, I'll take the Dagger of Tusaka, outflank some Plasma, have a great time. With Krieg, it's like, not quite sure what relic is good for these guys. So instead, I'm just going to have no imagination. I'm going to take Kurov's Aquila, because that basically gives me some command points back. And as I'm starting the game on 8, it's quite good to be able to farm a few command points. So my Warlord will be my relic bearer, but he won't have a Warlord trait, and these guys will both have Tank Ace traits. So now we shall see what the Death Claw Krieg will face.
They need a flag.
Yeah.
You need a flag.
I do have some flags, but
you need to get a flag dude made.
I have 2 flag dudes. I haven't used them because it's basically paying 33 points for a flag.
No, but you just need, like, if he could have that and be like, oh, and his relic is the flag.
All right.
You know what I mean? And then it's like,
oh,
the standard, man, the standard.
Well, the flag has a big eagle on it.
Yeah,
maybe I should, I'll have to think about it. I might go and get the flag model.
Get that done tonight.
Just make my warlord extremely visible.
I don't pay.
So we shall now see what the men of Krieg are facing off against today. So here we have 2,000 points of Blood Angels. These guys are well known on the channel. Johnny's Blood Angels have killed many a guardsman over the years. If you actually want to see... Countless. Johnny actually does have his own YouTube channel called Schola Progenium. We're kind of trying to make a little sort of Warhammer network going on here, so I'm referencing him. He's going to do shout outs for me. I cover most of the Guard and Horde factions. Johnny likes to cover the Elite factions, so between the two of us we have a lot of tactics covered. So if you like what you see here today, go and check out Johnny's channel. There will be a link down in the description below. So you want to take us through your list today, Johnny? I know you've got a few new units to cleanse some guardsmen with.
It's really fun for me to have this army on the battlefield today because I have fully modernised the list. Now with the addition of like 3-4 units from Indomitus, I'm just loving seeing it on the field. I really enjoy just the look of them. Got to hold my hands up. I played old Marines, mini Marines, whatever you want to call them, tacticals, firstborn's the correct term, throughout 8th, and just added in a few intercessors. But now, I'm just really love the new Indomitus stuff. I think it's great.
I'm more of a fan of the firstborn. You know what they say, Johnny? The firstborn child is the favourite. So
yeah, well, I am the firstborn child. That's certainly true. So I'll take you through the list very quickly. So we've got Mephiston. He's not the warlord. He is going to be running 3 psychic powers today. The standard 3 for Mephiston, which is speed of the Primarch. That gives him extra charge and advance on top of the Blood Angel standard. He also gets D3 extra attacks. That casts on a 7. He's got also Unbound Fury, I think it's called, which Unleash Fury, that's it, Unleash Rage. He's something to do with being angry and that coming forth.
yeah.
But essentially that gives every model in another unit within 12 inches +1 attack.
Nice.
I've used that last game on these guys, and they had, what was it, 31 attacks on a full unit, turn 3.
Filthy.
It was resplendent. And then I've got Lamatis, custom Lamatis model, and Lamatis, of course, he's great. He knows 2 and can cast 1 litany. He also gives Death Company, rerolls charge and reroll all hits in combat automatically without rolling for a litany, just in addition, so that's really good. And then we've got the captain, Alexander Garfield. He's my warlord today, and I have spent a CP on him to give him, to make him Black Death. Black Death.
He's got bubos all over his armpits.
Yeah. No, I'm not falling to Nurgle. He's damn it, I am the traitor.
Yes!
He's Death Company.
Yeah.
And he also has the Warlord trait that I think it's called Gift of Foresight, and that gives him, if he's Death Company, a 5-up, and obviously he's got +1 attack because of Death Company, so 5-up, feel no pain.
Okay.
He also, in terms of relic, has the Hammer of Baal.
Which is a no penalty Thunderhammer.
No penalty Thunderhammer.
So you've not gone for Artisan of War.
No.
So it will take 4 whole attacks to kill Legion Rust, not 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like it. Well, it's because I'm only running 1 captain. Traditionally, I'd have 2 captains.
Hammer on 1. And,
one would have the wings.
Oh, yeah.
And a normal hammer. Wings, Angel's Wing,
Yeah.
and a normal hammer, and the other would have.
But now Overwatch is like...
Yeah, now Overwatch is there. I can't fit 2 captains in. I don't think I can even have 2 captains. Haven't they errated it? So you can have like 1 captain.
Not yet. Using your gift of foresight, you have seen into the future, where Blood Angels are being absorbed by Gilliman and his codex. And anyway, we won't get into that now.
I'm not even discussing that at the moment.
Anyway,
that takes us on to the troops. So I've got 5 units of troops today. Troops very much not dead in my eyes. I've had great use out of this. I've started with 3 squads of intercessors, then I've gone up to 2 squads of intercessors, 2 squads of assault intercessors, and then finally this is the sort of evolution of that, which is 3 intercessors, 2 assault intercessors. And hopefully I'll be able to show you well how I run those today, but they've been absolutely valuable and racking up the points for me.
These guys are very choppy. We'll see that hopefully.
Really, so they get, I believe it's 21 attacks for turn 1 and 2 if they get into charge. Turn 3, that goes up to 26 attacks. And if I cast Unleash Rage on them, 31 attacks. So really, and of course, AP -1 on the Astartes Chainsword. So they're really tasty, really nice. Turn 3, they'll be AP -2
one day.
Maybe. I'm hoping Firstborn get them. That'd be really cool. So that, I mean, one thing.
I think the Firstborn are like the Firstborn are like, can we have some of those Astartes Chainswords? And they'll probably be like, no, you wouldn't share the plasma guns with us at a squad level.
Yeah, maybe
these are for us.
These are ours. I mean, I always thought Chainsword should be more powerful. I always remember a scene in, I think it's the second Eisenhorn book, where he's on a shrine world and he has this fight with this evil dude.
One, yeah.
And the guy's got a chainsword and it's like cutting through stone and stuff. Stone pillars and it's like a shrine.
Chainswords aren't really a finesse weapon which would give you an extra attack. They're not like deftly, being attacking with ease. They are just like for hacking through things.
So I think that AP -1, I think it's a long time.
Makes more sense.
I think it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I get both. Then that takes us on to the elites. So I've got Sanguinary Ancient. He's also a character. He's got the banner. Which gives a 5-up feel no pain to any unit within 6 inches, and I've paid a CP for that. That's my second relic, so that's 2 CP spent before the game starts. So I'll start on 10, going up to 11 in my first turn. Elite wise, I've got now 6 Sanguinary Guard. So again, trimming the Sanguinary Guard down.
Always less of them every time I see them.
Yeah, exactly. But they've gone from 9 to 8 to 7 to 6, just sequentially, and they're performing at 6 quite nicely. Especially with like so many intercessors out there.
I suppose every time you lose one, it takes a long time to train another one.
I mean, that'll kill a squad. That'll kill like a 7-8 man squad of intercessors, even if someone brings big squads.
Yes,
just easily. True. So it's what you need. 10 Death Company. I've gone back up with the Death Company. I just find them useful to have those 2 or 3 left that can then hit something again.
Yeah.
Red up a whole unit because they've got so many attacks. 4 Power Swords, all bolters, chainswords, no Thunderhammers.
Ooh,
so I'm really lacking in the anti-tank at the moment because I'm down.
Well, you just chop things to pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Then I've got a Doredo. He's got heavy bolters, he's got the accelerator autocannon, and he's got the Alias defense system. So essentially a 5-up invuln for any.
So instead of shooting those missiles at me, you're shooting them at incoming fire.
Yeah, it's like if I see something coming in, it's like
deploy chaff. Deploy chaff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Deploy flares.
And then so heavy support wise, I guess. 3 Eradicators. These guys have actually off camera, but on camera they've been excellent, and off camera they've been utterly terrible. The last game I played, the first 2 turns that I shot with them, I got 2 hits out of 6, even with captain rerolls. That was shocking. So I've been really unlucky with them. So I'm hoping that turns around today and I start bringing Russes to slag.
The internet would tell you that these guys are insanely good. So we shall see.
I love the model. They look so badass.
Yeah,
they're so cool. So for me, I'm happy with that.
Fair enough.
Then finally, over here we have 3 Outriders. Now Outriders are hilarious in a Blood Angels force.
That's one word for it.
Well, on turn 3, they've got 2 attacks base, so that's 7 for the squad as a base. On the charge, that's another 3 attacks, takes you up to 10. Then another 3 for Astartes Chainsword takes you to 13, and then they all get +2 attacks on the charge, just as devastating charge. That's their special.
Yeah, it's a bit weird how Primaire Spikes get +2 wounds and +2 attacks, and everyone else is like +1 wound, maybe an extra attack if you're lucky.
If I charge you as well, but well, it is only if I charge you, but
so they are very big.
It's so many.
They are
attacks.
chunky.
It's so many attacks. Turn 3 doing that with AP -2.
I think with them being 4 wounds, it's really. I think that is what makes them a bit.
They're good.
Cheeky, shall we say.
And 14-inch movement, not 12.
So it's bigger and heavier, but thus faster.
That's got bigger engine, man. That's just physics.
Same number of exhausts, man. Same number of exhausts. Oh, everyone knows number of exhausts equals speed. I've seen enough drag racing. I haven't.
Either way, I know it seems a bit counter sort of what you might expect as a list because there's a few vehicles, lots of infantry and that kind of thing, but I found this really working for me.
I think it's a very good list because it's very difficult for me to pick secondaries against you.
Yeah, that's it. It's hard
Very
to score
difficult.
against.
Yes, and that I have said this on my channel, so I won't say it too.
It's hard to get attrition against me. It's hard to get thin their ranks. It's hard to get assassinate. It's hard to get first strike for max points. It's just, it's all right. It runs.
This is what I think is the key to 9th. The key to 9th is if you don't give up secondaries, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, and if you
Simple as
can rock those primaries all the way.
Anyway,
This is max your primaries. Stop them scoring secondaries and pick up the secondaries you can.
exactly. So, 2,000 points of Blood Angels with new Indomitus units. We'll see how they perform against the old school Krieg army. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to set the table up now, do mission, do all that stuff, and we'll be back after both armies are deployed with the deployment and the mission. So here is the field of battle after deployment. The Krieg have deployed in standard guard formation, infantry screening tanks with some fire support elements and deep strike deniers in the back. We are today playing the 3rd mission from the book, which is the 4 pillars. I think they should have had the 4th mission as the 4 pillars, but then I wasn't in charge of the writing the book. So, for those of you that want to know what the 3rd mission is, there are 4 objectives. It is table quarters deployment. There is an objective in each table quarter, and it is the standard match play rule. So if you hold 1 objective, you will gain 5 points. If you control 2 objectives, you will gain 10 points. And if you control more objectives than your opponent, you will gain 15 points to a maximum of 45 over the course of the game.
Well, no, it's an additional 5 points. So if I held 1 and you held none, I'd only get 10 points. So don't hold 2.
Okay.
Just as an interesting clarification, it came up in a game I played.
Okay, that's okay. Interesting. Secondaries. I have gone. Now, this is again. Me and Joy discussed this. Secondaries can be very faction dependent. Johnny has Marines. It's very difficult to pit secondaries against him. So I've had to pick ones that I can physically just score some points. But I'm actually not really in a position to. Well, unlikely to max any of them. But what I've gone for is I've gone for engage in all fronts because I'm likely just to be at least in 3 table quarters. I start pretty close to being in 3 table quarters because of the table quarters deployment. So I've gone for that one. I've also gone for assassinate. Now the reason I've gone for assassinate is Johnny only has 4 characters, but what he likes to often do with those characters is suicide them into me. You know, Mephiston will go in there and take out a tank, but if Johnny does that, he's giving me 3 points. So it's kind of like, ooh, you know, making my opponent think. And then the last one I went for was raise the banners high. Now again, I'm unlikely to max that out. I don't think I'm likely to get over this objective, not until the late stages of the game, but I am likely to be on 2 objectives for a lot of the game, which is a solid 10 points.
Raised banners is one of those that is actually really good to pick up when you can actually sort of get points in the late game, I've found. So if you think, oh, I've got to raise those banners as soon as possible, got to raise those banners, but actually turn 4 you can have a random unit of infantry that's like 3 guys left. You're really not bothered about them shooting anymore. Think about how common that is. You raise a banner with them and you score 2 points with them, which is nice. You know, it's
exactly. So
it's good for scraps.
The thing is also with raise the banners, there was lots of other ones I could have picked, like, you know, Slay the Warlord, First Strike, stuff like that, but they are unlikely to get me more points than even if I just sat on 1 banner the whole game. So it's really, secondaries are really tricky for Guard to pick up against other armies. But anyway, we've been looking at the lovely Krieg deployment. We'll go and have a look at the Blood Angels now. And Johnny, you can run us through what secondaries you decided to pick for your army.
So in terms of deployment, I've got a squad of 5, and this is not actually the way I would like to play normally, but it's kind of my set piece start. I won't be using them to get objectives the way I normally would. So normally, if you've got 6 objectives on the board, or you're not table quarters, any game that isn't table quartered, I'd have 3 squads taking objectives and pushing forward. Essentially, I've got 5 guys here, normal intercessors. I've got obscuring terrain in the centre, so they're pretty safe from most things, but they're not in terrain. Then I've got 2 squads of intercessors that are assault, 1 arcs through here, 5 here. They're using the wall as terrain. I've got then 3 Eradicators and my bikes here.
Yeah.
I've got a Sanguinary Ancient, I've got Mephiston and a Captain just close to so many vehicles and 5-man units.
Having a great time, yeah.
Really hard to assassinate him. Got Doretto, he's in 6 inches of everyone in the army, so everyone's got a 5 at Pinven, and I've got a Sang Ancient, 6 inches of everyone in the army, so they've all got a 5 at Feel No Pain as well.
So durable as hell. So very interesting.
My Eradicators, I couldn't really. There was a real difficulty between having them within running distance of this and then getting them hammered by every tank, or keeping them obscured but only being able to pick off one tank and maybe get. You've probably got enough firepower to wipe out that squad if you really want to.
I kind of need to.
Without, if you get first turn, I imagine they'll go.
I have random number of shots, so we'll see what happens. So just going over the terrain, we've gone for everything.
Oh, sorry, my secondaries.
Oh yeah, your secondaries.
So I have gone for Bring It Down. I don't have a lot of anti-tank in this list, but I have to take down Tim's tanks because all that plasma tank fire will really take a toll on my army and wipe me out very quickly. So I have to get rid of his tanks. It almost forces my hand to not lose faith. Like, keep pushing on the tanks. You'll get points for them. Everyone you kill is actually many marine lives saved in the future. I've gone for Line Breaker now. I don't normally go for engage on all fronts, but because of the way I'm going to play this mission in my head, what I'm planning ahead for, I just don't think I'll be in 3 or 4 table quarters a lot of the time.
I think you're going to spearhead forward, basically.
Yeah, a little bit more like that. And so, you're going to be in your deployment zone a lot of the time, it looks like. I'll be coming to your deployment zone, so it seems like a good option. Yeah. And then finally I've gone for Thin the Ranks, because if you're facing guards, you should take Thin the Ranks, because every kill is just getting you a point. You can't be denied it. No. There's no messing around. There's no taking you off an objective before your next command phase. There's nothing like that. It's just simply every man that I kill will get me 0.1 points. Yeah. And every tank that I kill gets me
4 points now, because you'll get 1 Thin the Rank and 3 for Bring It Down.
So it's making my gameplay as straightforward as possible, considering I really don't have a list built to fight this kind of armour. But I should be able to handle myself, hopefully.
So it's going to be interesting. Guard are going to try, I think, and dominate the primary and just try and deny secondary as best they can. I think the Blood Angels are just going to if they're going to win this, it's going to be on secondaries. So we'll see what they.
I'm either going to win this big, or I'm going to get shot to pieces by a lot of AP -2.
Yeah, true, fair enough. So that's the mission. That's deployment. That's everything apart from the roll-off.
Okay.
So
you usually go green, don't you, for Nurgle, because you're a traitor?
I'm going to go green for the sweet colour of trench gas, which my
chlorine gas.
Glorious chlorine gas that my Kriegers love. So you need to beat my 3
with a 3.
With a 3. Oh, gotta try again. You need to beat my 6.
Yes!
6. All right. You need to beat my 5.
Oh, that's difficult.
With a 1.
Well,
I think I'm going to go first. I'm going to go first because I want to kill as many Marines as possible. I know a lot of my infantry won't be in range, but I've got, for the first time in forever, I have long range fire support. So let's see how this goes. We're back at the end of Guard turn 1. So end of Death Corps of Krieg turn 1. It was actually an alright turn. I thought I was going to suffer from new army syndrome, but they did alright, so that's good.
Well, your tanks, which are not new,
did well. Yes. So the turn started off with the movement phase. I advanced this unit here and this unit of Grenadiers over here, and that was to start securing this objective. I've begun raising the banners with this unit of Grenadiers. And then I also started raising the banner in my home field with my Quartermaster. Then my other infantry, my screen, moved out, trying to create a bit of an anti-deep strike zone, and my tanks trundled forward, a couple on each flank and then one holding the centre. Now, because I was able to move 5 inches and still get off a lot of firepower, it was actually surprising. Me and Johnny both commented, we thought this obscuring terrain was going to have a much bigger effect, but what it essentially meant was I was still able to see Johnny's units. I just couldn't see his core, but there's still plenty of other bits and bolts for me to shoot at.
Side and because you're measuring from the bolter sticking out the front or whatever. Like this guy just shot sideways like that and that.
Yeah, he fired from the tip of this, and he just still was able to see the tip of a base, and it was, get your dry spaghetti out and measure that 1 millimeter line. So the infantry didn't do a lot. They screened out. The only thing the infantry did is they did 1 wound on the assault intercessors here from this grenadier squad. Then the main event began with the tanks. So the Lehman Russ tank commander over there fired into the Eradicators, and thanks to rerolling 1s to hit and rerolling 1s to wound, already love it. Johnny will tell you it's already amazing being able to reroll those 1s to wound. I was able to kill 2, and I thought, right, those Eradicators are their alpha strike potential's gone down. He can still, potentially kill a tank in one go, but it's much less likely. So I now want to start working on Johnny's objectives because I want to try and dominate him on primary. So then I started shooting away at his regular intercessors. There's a couple of squads down here, and there was a squad out front as well. And what I then started to come into contact with was a 5+ invuln save Primaris with a 5+ feel no pain is actually pretty bloody tough. And I think Johnny was, I don't think he was above average on his feel no pains. He was just consistently, he wasn't messing them up. It was just pretty consistent. And so after this Lehman Russ here had shot into these intercessors, he only killed like a couple, and that's just what every single tank was doing, was just like killing 1 or 2 intercessors here and there.
2 from the back squad, 3 on the front squad, and then you wiped out a squad of 5, so it still added up to plan.
Yeah, exactly. So once the dust, and there was one moment when I thought, right, I've got him here, I'm going to blast him with my tank, because it got 11 shots here, and then Johnny proceeded to make all his 4 saves, so that was good. It was, the tanks didn't do amazing. I only got 1 tank which got a big blast.
Is a tank, so.
That's true, every kill is a tank, but the one thing I would say is I had to use a command point to get 1 decent roll, and then this tank, decent roll was saved.
Think you are being unnecessarily critical of the guard. You are re-rolling hits and re-rolling wounds like an Astarte. You can move and shoot without any penalty whatsoever. This should be the best. This is the best performance by your tanks I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, the tanks are definitely.
It's just that simple.
One thing we noticed was
more positive.
Positive. What? So no, I'm overall we killed 10 intercessors and 2 eradicators. But it was just the fact that what I would say I definitely noticed is the moving and shooting not affecting your vehicle weapons is really good. It just meant I could roll all my plasma turrets and my plasma cannons at the same time.
About this situation, but we'll find out.
So Johnny's lost 12 models, 12 and a half models, but he still has I haven't touched his combat power, which is arguably Blood Angel's strongest part. Not even arguably, it is. And he's still got Death Company and Sangard to drop in. So we'll see what he does going into the Blood Angel turn 1. But that was a pretty, it was a decent opening salvo from the guard. Decent. So let's see what the Blood Angels can do going in to their turn 1. So the Blood Angels, angry that so many of their brethren had been slain by these puny Kriegsmen, have launched a pretty furious counterattack, and not bad on the casualties front at all. He's gambled. We used to be able to say, you strategically gamble, but that's sadly that's not a thing anymore. So what the Blood Angels have done is they have basically done a refused flank. They've come over here and they're committing a lot to this side. And they've done a lot of damage. So this 10-man squad here was chopped to pieces in combat, and the pistols from these assault intercessors and a few other bits of spare firepower did a lot of damage to these guardsmen here. This squad here was killed down to 4 in the shooting phase from these bikes.
No, it's from the autocannons.
From the autocannons, yeah. And the bikes whiffed, didn't they? They got like 1 wound or something.
Yeah, they killed 1 guy.
Yeah, the bikes, which are normally a good firepower unit, kind of whiffed it this time. They've been trying to copy those Black Templar bikes, but it's not come through just yet.
Statistically, I've got a lot of 1s and 2s out of the way.
Exactly.
It's always good to get them out of the way early.
Always good to get them out of the way early. Now, this Eradicator was very angry that I considered him not a threat anymore, and he decided to prove me wrong by putting 11 wounds on this tank. But then it kind of balanced out, because Johnny shot a lot else at this tank trying to finish it off, and he just couldn't do it. Sometimes toughness 8 is really good. I don't even think I had to take more than 1 or 2 saves.
Because the captain actually got a 6 to hit and a 6 to win with his bolt pistol,
which would have finished me.
But you got.
I got a 2.
You got a.
I got a 2, which was for the Mars Alpha pattern thingy.
So you would have failed. The captain would have done a Saving Private Ryan, pop the Tiger tank style pistol shot, but because of your Krieg's bullshit.
Krieg bullshit, yeah.
Wound anything that is strength 4 or
less, yeah.
You get
it's not very specifically strength 4. It's not like those las bolts just sling through the armour.
You get +1 to your armour save, which is great. That saved that tank.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I didn't overcharge Mephiston.
No.
He got a 3 to wound.
Yeah. You got 4 to wound. If you'd overcharged, you would have wounded me.
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Now, speaking of Mephiston, the Don, the man himself, he came flying in here against this tank.
7 inches up.
Oh, yeah.
Then he winged.
Yeah.
So he's 9 inches away.
And then he got a big charge.
And then he got a 10 inch charge.
He did take 4 wounds on the way in from Overwatch.
Oh, you got so much.
He almost got him. He made a couple of feel no pains and whatnot. Because of defensive gunners.
11 shots of plasma at him or something crazy. It was just, I can't remember, but it was a lot.
I just hit a lot when I shouldn't have done, basically.
You generated a lot and you hit a lot. It was it was crazy. Really good.
I didn't get 11 because I can't shoot my turret twice, and I didn't do that. I shot my sponsons and my turret once.
Yeah, I mean,
just in case people say, how did you get it?
Well, you generated as many as you could.
Yeah.
Your sponsons rolled a 5 and a 6, didn't you? So you fired 6 shots, and
my turret got 4, and then I got 2 of those hits. There was a lot of hits overall.
There was just a lot of hits overall, but because of his feel no pain, he did actually fail all of his armour saves.
He would have died, but he has a feel no pain, and he made 2.
He made quite a few feel no pains.
But he's got 4 wins left, and he's tagged these 2 Kriegsmen.
He's got 2 wins left. He's taken
he's got 2 wins left. He tagged these 2 Kriegsmen just because, even though I can still fall back and shoot, and my firepower volume of shots isn't reduced, it does mean I now don't get to use bring it down through your 1s to wound, which is a little a little bit of less damage he should be taking.
Whatever you can do, guard are good with their orders, but making them not use their orders on what they want is a critical part of dulling the blade. Yeah,
absolutely. So these guys unfortunately got sort of stuck out in the open because these were just too good at killing.
They just butchered a 10-man squad
and then they couldn't even activate or anything, so they're just stuck there. But the end was
closer. The captain's hidden behind this big bit of obscuring terrain, a 25mm base. So he's not going to be able. We measured it out with the tanks and one tank.
This one might be able to reverse and get him
if he goes full. This guy's not going to be able to get him. That guy's not going to be able to get him. This guy's hitting on 6s. And you can't increase that in any way.
I can just reroll my hits, but that's it. Because my turret, that's it.
I did ask.
6 is rerolling, but that's it.
And these are a little closer to a lot of your stuff, so.
But are they within 3 inches of him?
No, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter too much.
I don't think you're going to be able to.
I don't think I'll kill him, but we shall see. So, end of the Blood Angel's turn. The tally is 19 Grenadiers, so just 1 off the extra thing, the rank point. 1 tank badly mauled and 1 tank destroyed. Let's see what the guard can do. Now, a lot of the guard infantry is going to be in shooty range now, and I've raised my banner so I can kind of run around doing what I want. So let's see what the guard shooting can do against this Blood Angel attack. So very interesting Krieg turn there. Could be a biggie. Could be a biggie. So in our movement phase, I was thinking, that captain, he's hiding. I really don't want him to just do another Mephiston, come in, take another tank commander, and then I'm down to, well, this one's already damaged, and then I'm kind of down to 2 tanks, and that's not really enough.
That's where I can weather 2 tanks.
He can weather 2 tanks happily. Sangard are tough old bastards. So I thought, right, I will get less firepower this turn, but I will do a tactical withdrawal of my tanks. And so this guy moved back 10 inches, this guy moved back 10 inches, and this tank commander moved back 5 inches. So he was still double shooting. But these 2, this Conqueror and this one, was not double shooting, but they were out of range of the captain. So that was good. And I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to have to deal with the captain turn 3. The rest of the Krieg forces continued the screen. So I pushed up a little bit more. I fell back out of combat. Obviously, Johnny was like, do you not want to hip fire? And I thought, not against assault intercessors. It's not worth it. It's better. It's nice to have the option, but I don't want it here. And then these guys just moved in here to make sure, this squad of Grenadiers moved here to make sure that I could continue to get engaged on all fronts for now. So that was movement. Then the shooting came, and I had to do my orders first. So I started off with I started off with this tank commander shooting into Mephiston, and I was like, I'm only shooting my turret weapon once, so I'll put everything into him. And it was actually just the turret itself did it. Johnny was very unlucky on his saves, and then on his feel no pains. It was too easy. It was too easy. So then I thought, right, that's 1 character down. I'll go to my mortars, because this this captain that was here, he was obscured, but he wasn't within 3 inches. The new lookout sir rules.
And he's in phase 2 of the plan, which is what I do. Is Lamarty's moves up to here. A Death Company come in 9 inches away. They hit 2 to 3 units, clear them out, and then I've got another screen after the assault ancestors are dead in front of my captain.
And then he goes again.
And then you can't escape any further, and it's just 12. Bop bop.
Yeah, exactly.
But
then the mortars went. Now on this squad went first. And I spent the CP for the stratagem so they get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and they got 10 shots. Nice. They also had reroll 1s because I told them to take... they didn't have reroll 1, sorry. And they just fired into the captain here. And I just got 5 wounds on him. And the Johnny failed... 4 saves, 6 wounds.
And I failed 5.
He failed 5.
And I failed 4.
He failed 4. So one captain taking 4 wounds from just...
And then I had a 5 at Phil No Pen and failed all of those.
All of those, yeah. And then this squad was like, right, well, we'll go as well. And we'll go into him. And again, it was like 7 shots, but I got a surprising amount of hits, even hitting on 4s. Surprising amount of wounds. Then Johnny just failed every save again. So 2 cheap mortar squads with like no buffs on them. Just took out this character. I just
couldn't roll the dice this turn.
So that was really unfortunate. It was very good for the guard. Really unfortunate for Johnny. I'm just imagining like he's there with his shield, like covering his back but not covering his head. I mean, and the maul is just coming in, just landing on top of his head.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That is a hugely game-changing moment because now I can still do my plans with my other units, but. To what end? Because the captain's gone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. This guy, even though he's a tank, he's now been relegated to screening because he's pretty much dead anyway. He's still going to affect you in the movement phase.
I can't. I mean, it's really cool for the Krieg, isn't it?
Yeah. Now then, I was like, right, time to do some fallback and shooting, and some without mercy with this squad here. Let's lay on some lasgun fire. Now, I was thinking of this as normal lasgun fire. Oh boy! It is not normal lasgun fire. Hotshot lasguns, just as your standard infantry weapon, are really good. The Kriegers themselves, you don't really get much from the 4+A, whatever. They still die in droves, but they actually have some punch. All you're doing when you're paying that 2 points for that grenadier, you're just paying for the hotshot lasgun. You don't need anything else. You're just paying for the hotshot lasgun.
And the fact that you get carapace armor as well.
It's a bonus, but in this game it hasn't made a single bit of difference. I've only rolled 6s when I've made my saves. I've not made any 5s.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like it's a really they are
tough.
The hand just leagues beyond guardsmen.
The guardsmen have like volume of fire, but you know what? Sometimes it's just better to stop your enemy from having a save. Sometimes that's just better. Enemies can make wave after wave of 3-up saves.
Like people say, because of the prevalence of invuns, AP is dead, but no, AP -1 to -2 is
still
best.
good.
It's fantastic, and that's why Marines are so powerful because they have so much of that.
Yeah.
They don't have loads. They just have a high volume of moderate AP weaponry, and
exactly.
You are shooting like a Marine in every aspect. You're these are Primaris guardsmen essentially.
Yeah.
So an AP -2 gun.
And hit on 3s.
And they hit on 3s.
So they are really good. I wouldn't say they're overpowered. I'd say they're strong. They're very, very strong, but I wouldn't say they're overpowered. It's probably what is a really good factor for them is that they're facing an assault army, so they're getting their volume of shots off because the enemy's coming towards them. But if you were facing a shooting army, you would have to take sort of turn after turn of struggling.
I'm feeling very in a strong position right now. If that captain was out, I'd be like, I'm 2 steps away from winning. Like everything's going just to plan, but
with that captain
just getting more. I mean, the thing is, that it was the only 2 things that could shoot him apart from the tank hitting on 6s, which I wasn't bothered about. But like, I just didn't pass a.
Didn't pass a save.
Well, I passed 1 armour save out of all of it.
And maybe 1 feel no pain, maybe.
But no feel no pain.
Yeah. That was a waste of a CP at the beginning of the game, wasn't it? So combined fire here, plus a little bit of fire from this guy. He couldn't see the Primaris over here because he'd retreated. Managed to clear out the assault incessors. So after the dust had settled, Mephiston was down, the captain was down, and the assault incessors were down. So that was good. Then it came over to the regular old battle cannon tank commander, and he lobbed his shell into the 2-man Primaris squad that was there, and they are now dead. Now then I made a key tactical error. Potentially, I think it could have far-reaching consequences.
It's definitely kept me in the running.
Definitely kept me running. I raised my banner on this objective, and then I was like...
You scored at the beginning of the command phase, you're like, I've got my points now.
I've got my points now. So I was like, time to push out the anti-deep strike screen. So I move them. But now I'm not holding that objective.
You were so worried about those death company.
Yeah, and Johnny is still holding that objective and that objective, which means
the
at the beginning...
in his death, he at least achieved one thing.
You got your plus 5 points.
Because of this obscuring, it didn't really stop you the first turn because you were up and around it.
Yeah.
But in the second turn, because you're so far back, that obscuring, it just...
It's going to make a huge difference because I'm only going to get...
shoot these guys and that...
Beginning of my turn, I'm only going to get 5 points now.
Yeah.
So it's a 10-point swing to you.
And I feel very vindicated in this because as I said when I introduced my list, I've gradually increased the number of normal intercessors that I've got back up to 3. And it's because I kept losing this backfield objective because everyone put everything they could to tempt down to one objective and score 5 points. But now I'm going to score 15 for holding it, so it's really...
It's a 10-point swing to Johnny. He's going to get plus 5, I'm going to get minus 5, and that's entirely my own fault. I had that objective, I had an officer on it, and I just decided to move out. It's a massive game change. You think I'm winning on killing. I mean, look at all these Blood Angels which have been killed. You know, I'm winning on killing, but I've just given Johnny a 10-point boost.
Which is nice.
Which is nice. But I did in that turn get plus 10 for my own primary, plus 6 for assassinate, plus 2 again for engage in all fronts.
You're on 6 in total for assassinate.
And plus 2 for raise the banners.
Oh yeah,
so,
plus 6 Mephiston. Wow, that was a long turn.
Yeah. So it's the Blood Angel turn now. The reinforcements are going to be coming in. Let's see if I can weather the second wave and then grind them out. Blood Angels, turn 2. So the Blood Angels hit the guard really hard, then cleared a lot of the screen away. So movement wise, the Death Company dropped in here with a juicy target of a couple of Grenadier squads, one here and one that was in here.
There was 3 I was thinking, but shot one dead.
Shot one to death, yeah. And then the bikes. Now, I honestly think that the move of the Grenadiers over there could potentially lose me the game.
I didn't realise how juicy it was until it was my turn. And I was like, wait a minute.
These bikes can move 14 inches because, you know, Primaris.
I'm just going to check it again, even though I already checked it 5 minutes ago.
So they could I think you got enough for each charge.
14 inches, yeah. I got 11 inch
So
charge.
not only did I give up 5 points, 10 points, I effectively sacrificed a squad of Grenadiers for like no gain. So it is I've just thrown away like 10% of my screen.
Even holding this objective is now tenuous.
Yeah, exactly. So my banner is on it, to be fair, but I'm not holding it.
Yeah.
So that's really difficult. And Johnny still does have the Sangard to come in as well, so it's not like it's safe in any way,
99 times out of 100, I dropped this DC in second to make the most out of the Blood Angels thing, and the Sangard can hold it better. But against pure tanks, I knew whatever unit I put down was a forlorn hope charge.
Yeah.
Either unit was going to die, and I needed as many infantry dead as possible. So Death Company get that job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just couldn't get to the tanks. I need the Sangard are the only anti-tank unit I have left in my army because I don't consider him anti-tank against Lehman Russes.
Yeah, fair enough. So
the Dreado moved over here.
Dreado moved over to. So this was really good for Johnny. So the Dreado moved over and just caned this entire squad. I really haven't felt the benefits of Carapace armor, to be honest. It's 5.
It's turn 2, which was nice. So
and it's turn 2, so I think he's on 5.
Everyone has 2 on these guys, so they picked it up a little bit.
Yeah, so they died. So like I said, this flank's really tenuous. I thought this flank would be the one that would be most secure, and this one would be the one that's struggling, but it's actually the way around, which is interesting. So Death Company then went in and just killed that squad really badly, but then I used Overwatch and got 3 6s, 3 wounds. Johnny failed 3 saves, 3 feel no pains, as per tradition. So that was 3 dead on the way in, and then I interrupted after he used his bite and killed another one. That was a really big brain move.
And I almost re-rolled with the command, but I thought, I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to pass it.
Yeah.
And I should have done because just one extra guy would have finished them and I'd been in that position.
So then what happened is these 2 Grenadiers stayed alive. I spent a CP, they were a 7-man squad, I spent a CP, so they only had to take the morale into D3 and they passed. And so basically the reason that's really important is because Johnny is now not in line breaker because these guys are holding those up.
These could just be.
So if they had died, if he'd had all his Death Company and I hadn't interrupted, they would be dead and he would have got an extra 4 points. As it is, I've actually denied Johnny 4 secondaries there, and did not get any secondaries this turn. Didn't kill any tanks, so he killed all the Grenadiers, which are, a really good unit with those hotshot las guns, but he didn't kill any tanks. So
so many that captain. If only I would like my captain to be here right now.
Yeah,
just here, not asking for much, but just behind, like maybe here, just behind the bikes, just here.
Yeah.
And then he'd just go 12 and start wrecking shit, and the Sand Guard would come in here, and that'd be 2 tanks dead, and my old plans would come to fruition. But unfortunately,
he died to a mortar on the head.
I would have got you if it wasn't for those pesky mortars.
Yeah. So, long story short, Johnny has killed about 70 out of 90 grenadiers, so the screen is pretty dead.
These bikes,
they're
Grenadier Squad.
They're really, really good. Like they're probably, I'd say they're like the sleeper unit of Indomitus. Everyone's going on about these guys, but if they don't get forced to wound against heavy armor, they struggle. These guys are just incredible. So they're going to have to hopefully die this turn. But that's the end of Johnny's turn. So Death Company shoot these guys up, bikes shoot up those guys, and these grenadiers were shot to death by the Dorado.
So I'm very happy with that.
So very happy.
I'm just pretending the tanks aren't there.
Yeah.
I do not see past this line.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy.
So Johnny he did get his 15 for his primary, but he didn't get any secondary that turn. He's on about 6 or 7 thin the ranks points, but we're adding that up at the end of the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like to find that out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see what the guard can do going into their turn 3. So end of turn 3 for the Krieg. Wow, only turn 3. Interesting turn. I think it was just another solid, dependable turn. So what happened was we didn't muck about. We moved some infantry up. We screened out a little bit more. We made sure we got back on that objective, and then we were like, we're not mucking about anymore, son.
You scored 5 at the beginning. Don't forget that.
Scored 5 primary at the beginning of the game. I was like, we're not mucking about, son. This tank is going to fire everything, overcharging the bejesus, every plasma shot into these bikes. And the end result was rather predictable. The bikes were absolutely smushed. What he did, I did spend 2 CP for the stratagem so that he could get maximum shots. But even then, there was like 6 plasma wounds left over.
So
before
12, 18 shots.
Yeah.
He did 1 wound to himself, remember?
This is true. There we go.
Which is good going for 18 shots.
Yeah, so, but even without, I didn't even need the 18 in the end because they just absolutely died. The counter to Primaris remains plasma. Just remains plasma.
Those plasma tanks. Can you make the plasma tanks so that they also have that +1 armor save against strength 4 stuff?
Yes, but then they wouldn't be hitting on 3s.
No, that's not worth it.
No, it's not worth it. So that was threat 1 neutralised. And then all the hot shots went in. I had lots of bring it down this turn because I can reroll ones to wound my officers and my infantry. For once I wasn't having to fall back, apart from with these 2 guys who moved over here to screen. And they actually only killed like 2 Death Company. Johnny was doing fairly well on his saves, but I was like, right, I've had enough of this mucking about. And I just went...
Well, you fired your mortars then, and I saved it.
Oh yeah, fired your mortars. I think I killed 1 maybe, but there was
still... got 1 wound and I got a feel no pain. And
that's true, yeah, the mortars didn't do anything this time.
Because I had, yeah.
That was a waste of a CP. I spent my last CP to give him again +1 hit, +1 wound.
Which is, I got my money back from my captain there.
Yeah, fair enough. So then I was like, right, I've had enough of this. So this tank commander just unloaded everything into the
Sorry, gotta get ice cream.
But he interrupted the battle report with the ice cream man outside. So he fired everything into Death Company. Predictable results. I just need to put heavy firepower into them. They died. Lamatis was then exposed, and then this tank just unloaded everything into him. He got some lucky feel no pains because Lamatis just have a 6-up because he is Death Company. The last shot, the heavy bolter, 2 hits, 2 wounds. Lamatis failed 1, then failed a 6 and feel no pain. Johnny didn't have any rerolls of any kind to try and prevent that. So Lamatis is now dead. Last but not least, the 4 Grenadiers here are contesting this objective from Johnny. And they also fired into the Eradicator but couldn't kill him. And then this tank fired everything into the Eradicator but only got 2 shots on his cannon.
So only scoring 5 at the start.
So you're only scoring 5, yeah, we miscounted that. So John's only scoring 5 at the beginning of his turn. But we thought he was going to score 10.
That's a good swing for you.
Not a bad swing, but long story short, everything fired in and it was a single unovercharged plasma round that took a wound off him. So
off the Eradicator.
So these 2 are just slugging at each other, and It will genuinely be interesting to see who actually wins the fight in the end. This guy I thought would be gone by this point.
Not if the Eradicator doesn't get him now.
Toughness 8, man. Toughness 8, no buffs. No buffs. So that's the end of turn 3 for the Krieg. Points wise, we got only 5 for primary, we got another 2 for engage on all fronts, another 2 for raise the banners, and we got another 3 for assassinate. I'm really glad I took that assassinate. I was really hesitant about it, but it basically, Johnny had to use his characters the way he did, so it was good point scoring for me. Johnny now has a sanguinary guard to come in, 6 absolute mad lads. He may not bring them in this turn. He's under no obligation to do that. And at the beginning of his turn, Johnny will score 5 points because he holds that objective. He's very cleverly moved Doretta over there, so I just can't take him off that.
This is annoying because I thought I had 10 in the bag.
Yeah, but cheeky Grens, who again, this whole flank we've got. These 2 units got diddled at the beginning of the game, and they've kind of just stuck it out since then. So Blood Angel turn 3 coming up next. Krieg did okay there, removed the bikes, removed the Death Company, removed Lamartis. I'm really glad that I did that Overwatch and everything last turn because it made removing the Death Company actually possible. So, interesting turn. The Krieg still have...
Yeah, Death Company still be alive.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the Krieg still have 3 operational tanks and 1 that's leaking smoke. We have very little infantry left on the board. Let's see how Johnny reacts going into his turn 3. So Blood Angels turn 3, and unfortunately it did not go the way they wanted it to go. So Johnny realised that I had 4 Grenadiers screening this officer, and he realised that he just needed to kill 2 of them in order to then get the officer and pretty much then be able to blow me off that objective, and that would be a really nice point swing.
Screening. I've kept my stand guard off on this gamble to get them in, because I thought if I just bring them in, this is an 18-inch cross section, so I can't get in here. This is how frustrating it is. Tim doesn't have to move in his turn to screen. I can't.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing I can do.
So that was this literally. So what happened is he fired his 2 intercessors. He fired his 3 intercessors.
Only 2 could hit.
Only 2 could hit. He even did you use Wisdom of the Ancients at the end?
I didn't use Wisdom
of the Ancients. And he only killed, I think it was 1. He killed 1. My carapace armor finally came in. All game it's like I've not had the carapace. Yeah. This turn it came in. Then the Doredo was like just couldn't actually be in range of anything else. Yeah.
Because he had 3 guys in front. They got blocked line of sight. One thing I've noticed, and it's occurred to me in this game, is an interesting rule suggestion which I have for Games Workshop, which is they seem to have addressed the fact that small units
shouldn't be able to screen.
They
can't
screen. They this, that, and the other.
Characters.
They can't do lookout cert. And they sort of acknowledge the fact that just like a 2-man squad shouldn't really block you from doing what you want, but you can have I could have a unit of 20 Death Company screaming down on wings of fire from
if one
a high orbital. If one conscript's there, they're like, oh, we can't
redirect. Redirect.
I just literally
watch out as a conscript
on him. Do you know what I mean? Just vapor.
Yeah.
So that needs addressed, and you shouldn't be able to screen with less than 3 men.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a very fair.
I think if you have less than 3 guys, it should be
an effective screen.
Exactly. People can deep shot with a 9-inch stop. I think that's fair enough. So then Johnny had no choice but to shoot everything at the Guardsman with the Doredo because he wasn't in range of the Leave and Rust. So he did kill them, but again, it was really weird. The carapace in that unit actually kicked in, and it came down to every last wound. The last dice almost did it, which was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the Eradicator actually finally won the Duel of the Titans. Johnny had to use a CP to get it.
Yeah, I missed with both shots again.
You hit with 1 and then failed to wound, and you're like, I'm not having this.
Yeah, I'm using my
Emperor, there we go. And then this chap here just killed those 4 guardsmen. And that actually came down to the last.
I used a CP to give him D3 extra attacks, and I only got 1 extra attack.
But if he hadn't done that, he would have failed.
Yeah, so he managed to get killed 4.
And if he had failed that would have been brilliant for me because I would have been on 3 objectives and Johnny would have only been on 1.
And all your table quarters and everything. Now I'm sort of I kept the Sand Guard off because I thought you can't have it all your way
all the time.
Yeah, and you did. But I'm very happy with my army. I love using these Blood Angels. I really like the army, and it's just a case of when you do everything right but nothing. I'm happy with my strategy. I wouldn't actually change the decisions I've made. I just genuinely I'm having one of those games, which is fine because you have those games occasionally where you just have to, it's just a practice run, isn't it? You're just like well, these tactics work if you actually pass a save in a turn.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think.
I mean, the amount of Overwatch you've hit with these guys onto the Death Company, this guy into Mephiston.
That's true.
You've just had everything your way. I've had everything, apart from a couple of major boons of luck, which I'm really grateful for from the Dice Gods. It's just been one of those games. You're just fine. No worries. I'm really pleased with the Death Company charge, and I'm really pleased with the Outriders charge over there. Yeah. I've just been really fun and exciting. I'm sort of at the point where I'm running out of options.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of that turn, the Blood Angels on their score will get +5 for the primary and then +3 for big games. So they get another tank, and that's also a thin the ranks point. So we haven't taken the thin the ranks into account yet, and I think that will be a big boost for Johnny. Could make the game surprisingly close.
Fingers crossed.
Let's see if. But I have done well on my secondaries as well. So
I mean, I'm not saying whether I've won or lost because I don't know, but I'm just like, what can I do to get these bloody Sangard to actually achieve something and not get fucking slagged off the table by your tanks?
Plasma,
and unfortunately, the answer is not much.
Yeah, fair enough.
5 tanks, man. I mean, I know you're a Mordian infantry player, but I haven't seen many Mordians around, and now I'm seeing pure tanks, so basically you're going to need to change the channel name.
Deathcore Glory. Anyway, let's see what the Krieg can do going into their turn 4. So, end of turn 4 for the Krieg. It was pretty good. We did a fair amount of damage. I think, we're doing quite well at the moment. Johnny may have to have a bit of an amazing turn to bring it back, but not over till the fat lady sings. So...
I don't think I can win, but I've stolen so many games of him that you can't sell.
I'm so paranoid, man. I'm so paranoid. Like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. So, end of that turn, the 2 tanks here had to put everything in to kill the Sanguinary Ancient. His own banner helped him a lot. Commissar Kylo watching the final...
Inspecting proceedings.
Exactly, inspecting proceedings. And... but I did manage to get him, and then the mortars, which I said off camp in the game, I don't feel like these are going to do much against Primaris. I've done amazingly. I spent my last CP, which I generated this turn, got one back, spent it straight away. Should roll to see if I actually spend it because of my relic. Yep, still spent it. That's got me 1 back. Good times over the whole course of the game. Uno point back. So one squad of mortars, which I said, these guys won't do anything against Primaris. They just finished off the last guy. They got 4 wounds onto him because +1 to hit, +1 to wound. And Johnny got double 1, which is unfortunate. 4 saves, should have statistically passed them all, but he got 2 1s and no feel, no pain ban at that point because I had killed the Sanguinary Priest. So after that, these mortars weren't able to really do anything. I think one tried to kill a intercessor, but he made his saves. And this tank fired everything over into the intercessors. He's only thing he was
out of range.
Yeah, the only thing he was in range with was the battle cannon, and he only got like 5 shots, but he still managed to kill 2 intercessors. And so at the end of the guard turn, the Blood Angels have only got the Dorado and a single intercessor left, and they do have 6 Sanguinary Guard in reserve, but there's no buffs for them now. So they got to do what they got to do. Johnny, unfortunately, tried to spend a couple of CP he didn't want to spend on some like saves and stuff.
Trying because you were so close to not taking this off me, and that would be 10 points at the start of this turn. And it came down to the last dice to actually kill him.
Yeah.
So
it was the very last thing. Yeah. It was
worth spending the CP. I think I used Transhuman because you've slung so much plasma.
Yeah, this guy was plasmaing a lot.
It was so worth it. 2 CP for Transhuman. You fired so much plasma into the Sanguinary Ancient. It was 2 wounds.
It went from needing 1 tank to do the job to having both tanks to do the job. Yeah. I mean, the thing about Conquerors at the end of the day is, you always want to try and get them into 24-inch range. But if they're not within 24-inch range, they're still a battle cannon. And battle cannons are good.
Yeah, still good.
So there we go.
Did the job.
Although you do notice the difference between AP-1, AP-2, AP-2 and AP-3 when you're shooting into cover.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the Krieg turn. At the end of that turn, we got 10 points of primary because we were actually on 2 objectives. And we took Johnny off one of his, so he's only going to get 5 at the beginning of his turn. We got the last character, so we've got 3 assassinate points. We got engaged in all fronts because I moved these guys over here with this chap's order. Help push the screen out again. Still love that screening. And I also got 2 more points for raise the banners. So end of that turn, Krieg racked up a consistent amount of points, but we haven't taken into account the Blood Angels in the ranks yet. And I think
it's not going to be enough just because I can't kill the tanks and haven't been able to. If that captain's got one tank, just one.
Just one.
It would have just been a different story. But what can you do? Eh?
Just a heads up, guys. What we're going to do at the end of this game is we're going to do a Voxcast where we talk about just stuff in general, including what's happened in this battle report. That's actually going to be on Johnny's channel. So if you want to see a bit of an after-action report for this battle,
and also
go over to Schola Progenium. Yes.
And all that.
Because between us, Johnny's got 12 games under his belt, I've got 3, so between us we've got 15 games, and so we'll be able to actually give a bit more of a honest opinion about Ninth, because there was initially lots of negativity around it online, and now it seems, I love
Ninth.
I'm getting there. I'm starting to see the sense in a lot of things. I think you just have to, it's almost like play it your way, Ninth. You can make it as difficult and complicated as you want, or you can just have a really good time. Yeah. So we'll get into that later. I just wanted to mention that now, because if we leave it to the end of the video, sometimes people don't watch, the end chat, so I wanted to mention it now. So we will get onto the Blood Angels turn 4. They probably want to bring the Sanguinary Guardian at this point. Let's see what they can do going into their turn 4. So interesting, Blood Angel turn 4. They got everything they wanted, but we've totted the points. We're not sure it will be enough, but
it's going to be really close.
It's going to be really close. So the Dorado decided he'd had enough of officers and just put his autocannons into him and just absolutely blew him away. I was actually
and then heavy bolters over here.
Yeah, I was actually quite lucky. The officer only just died.
Yeah.
And then, because Krieg officers, 4 up save and cover. Well, 3 up save and cover. So really nice. They all have carapace armour, which guard officers don't have.
Nice.
And which you don't pay any more points for. You don't pay any more points for. Love Krieg. And then his heavy bolters killed 2 guys here, and the last one was sniped by that intercessor.
Krieg Fanboy is your new channel name.
Krieg Fanboy, yeah. I Heart Krieg is going to be the new channel name. And then, last but not least, epic moment. Johnny did have to spend his CP to do it.
But I was really pleased because the intercessor killed a dude.
Yeah.
The heavy bolters finished off the squad.
Yeah.
Then he finished off the officer. So took away your table quarters, took you off that, so you're only going to get 5 points for your primary next turn.
Yeah.
Then these guys, they failed the first charge, they toyed with me, had that final CP at the start of the turn, got them in. Tim actually did really well on his saves, but it was...
I did well against the axes because I got a few 6s, but then the power swords were like, oh no. Pat was like, let me introduce you to AP-3 or AP-4. So
enjoying that carapace
now we realise it. We shouldn't it's lucky it worked out that way, because I shouldn't have even got saved against the axes because in the assault doctrine.
Oh yeah.
But it's okay. The dice gods, they make up for our mistakes.
Yeah, thank God.
So now, like the last samurai, the Sangard have butchered the infantry that was sent before them.
Drawing fire away from the honourable veteran Dorado.
Yeah. The Chad Reddo, as I've started calling him.
Thinking whether I should have brought them in this turn or the next turn. There's so few guard. These, for example, are an officer squad, so I can't target them when the next tank. I can't sink any of the tanks. We know that. We've established that. So my voice is getting hoarse from the.
It's been a long day, man.
The mortars I'm out of 18-inch range because the wrist bolts are 18-inch range. So even if I brought them on the previous turn, it would have changed the game in no way.
In fact, you may have been screened out more.
Well, I couldn't have got this far forward.
Yeah.
And this is my only chance now, is to essentially live by some miraculous turn of events, and then through the glory of the Emperor, kill one of your tanks, ideally a tank commander, get myself an additional 4 points, and that's all I can do. That's all I can do. I've never had enough units. Your AP -2 has been so devastating that I've never had enough units or scraps of units or anything to get line break. I've not scored a single 4 points for it. I've never had 2 units in your deployment zone, and I thought that is the one.
There's a couple of things I would say. So the fact that you haven't been racking up additional casualties from people running away is a big one, because you either smash me in combat or I sit there ignoring shooting casualties.
It's really annoying. You've had multiple 2 or 3, I swear, by finishing off guard squads. Because
they often finish themselves off.
2 or 3 men or 1 man can screen you and fuck your entire clan as a Blood Angel.
I would say the AP -2, it's not like the. I mean, I personally feel like it's not like this game changing. I've just been scything down Marines with it. The difference between AP -2 on Guardsmen and not is it's like normally my guards will do nothing and my tanks are under a lot of pressure to do the heavy lifting. My tanks actually haven't got a lot of shots on the turrets apart from once or twice, and that has been made up for the fact that my las guns because of AP-2, because the hot shot, have actually been like, don't worry guys, we can take a little bit of pressure off you. We can kill those extra 2 guys that you should have done yourself. And it's actually, I probably only killed about 10 models with all the hot shots, but it's 10 models that I would just not have killed at all.
I mean, you can take 25% more standard guardsmen.
Yeah.
So instead of 90, you could have instead of 90, 120. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Instead of 90, you have 120. We did the maths on it, and essentially, if you're shooting Primaris in cover,
it's typically 1 Primaris dead or 3 Primaris dead.
Yes. So it's a huge AP-2. If you're hunting Astartes.
Yeah, and we will go to this in the Voxcast. This is an anti-meta list.
If you've got Primaris in cover, all the Lascans in the world are going to bring down just a handful of Marines.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, if you can rush forward with your Death Corps and spray off from the hip 18-inch range and get half the amount of shots on, you're going to bring down more Marines nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that means you need less Marines. You can screen more easily.
Yeah.
You have to commit fewer men to get something done, get the job done.
Yeah.
Like a 4-man squad over here of guardsmen. Normally I'd be like, whatever, I'll deal with them. But they managed to actually block me from scoring 5 points and stuff like that.
I would say Grenadiers, they are really good. I don't think they need a points increase, but if they were to receive one,
they definitely need a points increase.
It's interesting. I guess it's literally from my perspective, from your perspective. I would say
Korp save. So they've got
if they were going to go up 1 point, that would be okay. If they made it
2 points.
No, because Scions are 2 points. We'll get into it later. But Scions are 2 points.
11 for a witch. You need to go up.
But Scions pay 9 points, so you'd be paying the same as a Scion for less special weapons, no deep strike. So I think they should be. I like them at 7 points.
They'd be the same as a Cabalite Warrior, and they're better than a Cabalite Warrior.
You've got to compare them to what else is in the Guard Codex, though. If they were 9 points, I'd just take Scions. Sounds better.
Scions should probably go up then.
It's tricky, isn't it? Anyway, let's see if these absolute units can stand off against these 3 tanks. We're back at the end.
No CP.
With no CP. We're back at the end. No CP. No fuel, no pay, but they are in cover. We're back at the end of Krieg turn 5. Last turn for the Krieg. Hi everyone, Mordian Glory here with a quick intermission. Apologies for breaking the immersion of the battle report. I just wanted to jump in here and give people the heads up. Me and Johnny did the final turn for the game, turn 5 Krieg and turn 5 Blood Angels, as a summary turn. And whilst we were going through the summary turn, the final score, we were also doing quite an in-depth analysis of the game, the Krieg and the new Indomitus units. As a result, the final part of the video actually goes on for about 35, almost 40 minutes. And a lot of that is us going through the results bit by bit. So I thought some people may not want to listen to 35 minutes just to get the final game score. So what I'll do is I'll go through the final game score. To those people who just want to know what the end result was, you just can listen to this bit. And if you want to, you can go on and listen to the rest of the video and hear me and Johnny's analysis. So the final score of the game was 72 points to the Imperial Guard, 57 points to the Blood Angels. That's taking into account painting score as well. So really close game, only 15 points in it. Both teams scored 30 points for primary. And then Johnny's Blood Angels on top of that managed to get 11 points within the rank because he wiped out all the Grenadiers, and then he also got 2 of them battle tanks, which got them 11 points. We were both very surprised by how many thin the rank points he got, because he did actually not get that many tanks. So it just goes to show how effective thin the ranks can be against the Guard. Even when you're not trying, you can almost you can get over 2/3 of the points for it. He then only got 6 points for Big Game Hunter because I was keeping my tanks back a lot of the time, and he got no points for Lion Breaker. Unfortunately, Johnny said that he probably would have gone for engaging on fronts with benefit of hindsight. Myself, like I said, 72 points, 30 points for primary. I got 10 points for Raise the Banners. I got 10 points for engaging on fronts, and then I got 12 points for assassinate, and then I got my 10 points for painting on top of that as well. So 72-57, really good game. That was the final score. Really nice, convincing win for the Krieg for a change. Me and Johnny are going to do, like I said, we're going to do a Voxcast at the end of the another video that will go with Johnny's channel, but we'll probably talk about something a little bit different. So don't worry, you won't miss out on any content or anything like that. And I will probably do a quick after action report for this channel as well, but just talking specifically about how I feel after I've played the Krieg in one battle. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this battle report. Please stay on if you want to hear me and Joy's in-depth post-game analysis. And otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy this battle report. And I'll see you guys next time. Right, back to the video. So, end of Krieg turn 5. We've actually done both my turn and Johnny's turn because it was really quick. So we'll go through the final combined turn 5 summary. So, the Sanguinary Guard, standing proud like the samurai. Gleaming in the sunlight.
In the Emperor's light.
In the Emperor's light. Face down 3 Leman Russes. The tank crews, they obeyed their orders without question. They are Krieg, but the only emotional response you could see was the steaming up on the inside of the goggles, of the gas mask goggles, as they wept tears
for the action they
for what they had to do. All 3 tanks. It did take all 3 tanks, but they were, unfortunately, every single one of them without a 5-up feel no pain, just so much plasma they could not withstand, and each one of them fell. The Krieg, you know, they say that a man is damned forever if he slays an angel, and every single one of these Krieg gunners now feels the black mark upon his soul for slaying the literal angels of the Emperor. Like when the Emperor saw Sanguinius dead, body broken, the guardsman had a slight glimpse of that.
Welcome to the Black Rage.
Yeah, exactly. These Krieg, they may have brought victory, but have they damned themselves in the process?
But yeah, they took 3 tanks, but they flattened the Sand Guard.
They did, yeah.
And then some of you may have been questioning throughout the game, and some people may have switched off at this point, and that's so be it.
Fair.
But you might have been thinking, he's got that Dorado, he's been saying he's got no anti-tank, why
have you not been slugging that into tanks?
Well, I hit perfectly averagely, Tim made perfectly good saves, and I did 2 wounds.
Yeah. It was basically, I got slightly lucky on, I did get slightly lucky on one of my saves, but even if we'd rolled statistically on my saves, you would have only done like 5 damage tops.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
at the most.
Doredos are not great at killing tanks, guys. So that was Johnny's whole turn, by the way. He just went, I'll sling some shots into a tank.
That's all I've got. Like, I can't shoot anything else. And I scored 5.
He scored 5, yeah. So I'm sure that will come up. Like, even if Johnny had been slugging, it would have taken 3 turns on that Dorado just to bring down a tank. So it's not, it's not ideal. They are really good at clearing infantry. Those autocannons just shred everything.
Killing
8
guard
shots.
Officers.
Guard officers.
I don't know how hard it is to kill a guard officer at range when he's got infantry, and if you can just.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually been very impressed in this game. He's consistently wiped a squad every turn. He's done great.
He's 290 points, and you think, how is that worth it? For
his consistency.
And for the 5-up Invern, the plasma in the open would have been even worse. I lost 10 guys and 2 Eradicators, but I would have lost more without that 5-up Invern. So, here's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's too. I think he's too expensive. I think he could be doing a little points drop.
Yeah, things will get adjusted. I think he's not. At least he's not overcosted and shit.
Does so much for me. Yeah. He scores. He holds objectives because there is so much going on. You really don't have, even with all the firepower that you had, like 4 tanks for most of the game.
Yeah.
You never have the firepower to even put a wound on the Dorado. Not one.
No, and
he sits there and just blaps infantry. And we'll talk about it in the Boxcast, but the value of infantry in 9th is very high because you need to be able to move, grab objectives, retake objectives when they're lost. It's a very dynamic, fluid game that's constantly evolving turn upon turn. It's one of the reasons why I've absolutely fallen in love with 9th is, you're manoeuvring, you're having duels, you're moving around the terrain and that kind of thing. It's a really immersive tactical experience.
Absolutely.
And infantry are a key part of being able to stay flexible and just secure those objectives and keep scoring.
Absolutely, yeah.
On a smaller board, it's so easy to take someone off an objective. You need to be able to get more onto it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just last couple of little bits, just so that you guys understand where all the points came from. I was able to move and then move the Quartermaster over halfway, so I might have to get engaged north front. So I just wanted to mention that before we forgot about it. So that was the end of the game. My turn 5, I killed the St. Guard. Johnny's turn 5, he tickled Lehman Russ. And so we come to the end of the game. Now we've added the points up, we've checked them, we've double checked them, and we have added in John East in the rank points now. And the end result is actually, we've added painting scoring as well. And the end result is actually surprisingly close considering how much the Guard have left and how much the Blood Angels have got left. You'd think it'd be a total landslide, but it's not. Including painting score, so out of 100, the Guard have got 72 out of 100, and the Blood Angels have got 57 out of 100. So it's only, what, 15 points? It's not very much at all. So just to go through the points, make sure we'll make sure we've done it correctly. We've both got 30 on primary. Now my intention in this game had been to dominate the primary, but I didn't. And then, unfortunately, because, and I've said that, yeah. And I've said this many times on my videos, and you guys will be sick to me hearing it. I think 9th edition is about denying secondaries. That's all it's about. You're both going to get roughly the same primary unless you absolutely dominate the board.
This is...
Let me just go through very quickly. I'll add the points. So, we both got 30 points. Then Johnny he killed 2 tanks, we got 2 big games. And then
that's 6 points.
That's 6 points. And then unfortunately he didn't get any line breaker. He would have maybe got 4 points, but he didn't get any line breaker because of what happened there about turn 2. But then we added the rank points up, and he got 11 points because he killed 90 grenadiers, 1 officer, and 2 tanks. And each one of those tanks is a the rank point. Now, just think about that for 1 second. He almost maxed out. He got over 2/3 of the points he needed for that secondary, and he didn't even kill all that much. That makes sense. There's plenty of Guard tanks left on the board. Thin the ranks is really, it's like you have to take it against Guard. No matter what Guard army you face, it's good.
Titan Slayer against Knights.
Yeah.
It's if you can't take 2 Knights down, I mean, it's 15 points. It balances Knights. In my opinion, it's such a genius maneuver. It's Knights start, they have to get 15 points that you've got, and if you can't take 2 Knights down your list, then you're not building a proper list.
It's just... So when we add that in, so Johnny got 30 for primary, and then he got 11 for the ranks, 6 for Big Game Hunter, plus his painting score, 57 points. I had a plan going into this game, and I executed it. I was like, and I've said this again on my channel, so I'll say it one last time, you only need to sit on 2 objectives to get the majority of the points you want to get. Now, I obviously made my tactical blunder over there, which meant I only got 30 primary. I could have got a few more, but I made that tactical blunder. So I got 30 for primary, but what I did is I just consistently got my secondaries. I picked the ones that didn't rely on me killing stuff, apart from Assassinate.
This is my 12th game of 9th, as I said.
Yeah.
And this is the first game I've lost.
Wow. That's a streak.
Yeah, that's a streak.
It's the first game I won.
I've had 2 draws so far up to this point.
Wow, they said draws would be impossible, didn't they?
Yeah, I've had 2 draws. But so it is possible to get a draw. It's
statistically you'll get it 1 in 6 times according to your scores.
I think I got 1 on.
So
it's just a couple of flukes, really.
Yeah.
It's when you both take similar. So in the other draw that I got,
was it against Marines?
It was against Ultramarines, and we both took first strike and both got 5 points for it. We both took engage in all fronts and both got 12 points for it.
Fair enough.
So because it was just a very even match, we basically took the same stuff. The guy I was playing against isn't the most experienced of players as well, so. And it was his first game of 9th, so I just basically said, if I were you, I'd take these and I'll take the same, and then we'll just play 9th. Yeah. That makes sense. So because we had the same secondaries,
basically became a draw. Yeah.
It just ended up we got a draw as well.
Fair enough.
But I would say that I have won it on secondaries every single time, because I've been playing with my Dark Elder and playing with my Blood Angels. That's all I played with, and because I play Malifaux. I'm very used to picking my own objectives based on the table and that kind of thing and board.
Yeah.
And just playing in that way, it's a mindset that I'm well used to from just playing a third party game.
Just get them secondaries.
That's the way Malifaux works.
And that's how I built my plan. So just to jump back in. Go on.
So because of that, and because the Dark Elder are so mobile, because the Blood Angels are able to strike wherever you want. I didn't take engage on all fronts this time, and I should have done.
I'm not sure.
Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Either way,
Well, I suppose you would have been getting 3 a lot of the time coming down here, wouldn't you?
I thought I would get it. The captain died and just changed my plans, and I had to adapt on the fly. But, because of that mobility, I've just I think max secondaries in my Dark Elder.
Nearly every game.
Well, I've only played 3 games of them, but I think 2 games are max secondaries.
So technically nearly every game.
One of them. So secondaries are
key.
Johnny
doesn't know this, but when I was coming into this game, I wasn't sure which mission we were going to play, but I was like, my game plan is I need to pick secondaries. I need to build an army and pick secondaries where it doesn't really matter who I face. I'm going to be going for basically the same secondaries every time. And with my Krieg, I went into this game and I was like, right, I'm going to be sat on at least two objectives every turn. I'm going to go for raise the banners. Because whilst I may not max it out at 15 points, I am going to get the majority of the points. I am going to get 10 points. So I did that. And then I was like, right, I'm going to go engage North fronts. I don't think, even with move, I don't think I'm going to get into Johnny's table quarter. But I will get in 3 table quarters every single turn. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to get excited.
Engaging North fronts is just great, because 10 points on a secondary, if you can get 10 points on a secondary.
Exactly.
Picking your secondaries is about reliability. Like, if I'm fighting the guard, I'm getting points just for killing stuff. A 10-man squad, 1 point. It's like,
easy peasy.
Like, why would you not take something which lets you get a point for every guardsman squad you kill or any tank you kill? It's an automatic take.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I went in, and so it's for Johnny and maybe for other armies, you do want to sort of adapt them on the fly. But what I did is I went into this game and I built this list around the idea of I'm going to probably take those 2 every time, and then my last one will be my one that I'll tailor with. And that's why I went for Assassinate, because I saw I was facing Blood Angels and I was like, right, what do Blood Angels characters like to do? They like to fuck shit up, they like to smash stuff up. It's a good job we don't monetize these videos because we swear a lot.
Well, you're allowed to swear on them.
No, if you swear on a monetized video, you lose it. That's what I've been told.
Any swear? No, I think...
Any swearing.
No, that's not true.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
I don't believe.
Only if they catch you. Anyway.
No, I'm monetized.
So
anyway.
I saw, right, Blood Angel characters, they like to smash, so that's the one I'm going to tailor against. I'm going to take Assassinate, and that worked out really well for me.
You need to have one that you can do. So with my Dark Elder, I get engaged on all fronts every time. Like, do you know what I mean? Just go for it. Because flyers can score engage on all fronts, unlike I keep calling it behind enemy lines, but it's not called that, is it?
There is a behind enemy lines one, but
the one where you score for 2 units.
That's line breaker.
Line breaker. I keep calling it behind enemy lines. Line breaker.
Same thing, man.
So I think a good sort of process is to have one that your list can do, whoever you face and whatever mission it is.
Yeah.
And then you've got to be flexible with the other 2. You've got to be flexible. Like, it's about flexibility.
Well, it depends. I think it depends how you build your army. We'll go into this a bit more in the Voxcast, but I would
just say one final thing, which is like coming into this with this army, like your regular view, and this isn't really even to your regular viewers because they will have made this assessment already anyway. Because you've been building towards this list as an anti-meta list and as a Primaris hunting list, essentially. Like it's just.
I've said on my channel, if you build your list to beat Primaris, no matter which faction you will have a good chance.
You've been theory crafting about like would Death Corps be good and this, that, and the other. So obviously I've got 6 armies. I could have brought all of them, but I thought, what would really do the Death Corps justice? I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the battle because it's been a long day, but I really wanted to sort of underline the idea that I wanted to give people a battle report where they could see like. Okay, a solid Astartes list.
Yeah.
Can you just...
Nothing wrong with that list.
Can you just tear through it with the AP Mans 2 and the Mass Plasma and these, whatever they're called? Conquerors.
Mars Alpha Pattern Conquerors.
Videos. And I think that the answer is most certainly a resounding yes. I think I was a little, unlucky in certain areas of the game, like the captain was just an absolutely game-changing moment.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that the plasma just flays anything it gets its hands on. and the AP -2 just means that your guardsmen actually kill Primaris in cover, whereas before they just can't.
I've had hundreds of games, I'm not exaggerating, you've taken into account tournaments, where I've unloaded a squad of guardsmen into a squad of Primaris, sat an objective, and done nothing.
Yeah,
5-6 turns in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
whereas these guys, they're just going to get, even if you kill
if they kill one.
If every squad, if you've got a platoon,
you've got 5 or 6 combat ready squads,
and
each one kills a guy.
You know, and you've taken someone off an objective. You know, you could never dream of doing that in a million years.
With regular lasguns.
With no special weapons, no plasma in there, no missile, no grenade launcher. That's the ridiculous thing. You're like, you know, like, only 2 points. But like, they are so capable that they are better than a guard squad. And after you've paid your 10 points for your missile launcher, your this for your plasma, your this for your plasma, you've made the points back.
I think the difference between
almost made the points back.
Yeah, I think the difference between basically guard and grenadiers is guard do one thing very well, which is screen and die. And they are good for doing that.
And if all soldiers.
Yes, and if all you want your infantry to do is to screen, then you should take the cheapest possible ones. Totally correct. But grenadiers are now affordable enough where you can take them. You can't spam like 200 of them. If you try and take 180 grenadiers, that's
if you did, it'd be fine though.
If you the most grenadiers you can get is 180.
You've got the money.
Yeah, exactly. You can get 180, and that is your 2k list.
Something like that.
So you take. If you took
450 quid's worth of infantry.
If you took 180 grenadiers, which you could do with 3 battalions, that is, I've pointed it up. It's basically that's your 2,000 point list with a few officers, right? That isn't. I don't think that's a good idea. What I think is good about grenadiers is you can take enough of them in a 2,000 point list where they're not taking points away from your firepower, but there's just enough of them to screen effectively. Look at what I've got left on the board. After 5 turns of sustained Blood Angel Assault, I have no screen left, but I have 3 tanks.
You've got 3 tanks, mortars,
officers.
And
I think I often overcompensate on the screen sometimes. And what the Grenadiers have taught me.
If you were facing, what you've got to remember is this is your ideal scenario.
Yeah.
You've got a whole army that you can. Your AP -2 is effective against every unit in the game, essentially, because it really wasn't helping for the Dreader. The Dreader's there to stop plasma in the open. So I can actually so I can run directly and not have to hold cover, and it takes me to get you. You know, I got in with those submarines straight away.
You have a durability castle to start turn 1 and 2 with, and then you spread out.
Sunburst from it, essentially. Yeah. But it just means that first turn, if they get the jump on me, at least I've got that fibre pinbum from plasma tanks and stuff like that, crazy crap. But it's one of those. I think if you were facing someone with 3 repulsor executioners and you know, or that they were not running at you, not exposing themselves from cover on any level, and just you were having a shooting match.
It's difficult because guard do like shooting.
Yeah, they like a shooting match, but I think Marines have that sort of rolling forward, really shoot you up, and then you're trying to take objectives over here, take 3 table quarters. Yeah, the shooting Marine armies can still fuck you up in close combat.
Yeah.
So I think it was an ideal circumstance for the Krieg, but what better a way to unveil the army for the channel? Like it's done them just. It's been a fantastic game. They look phenomenal. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. You know, just all in all, you couldn't have had a more fun time. You know.
But I think what this if I take because I don't want people to think like we've tailored or anything like that. We didn't even see each other's list before we turned up.
No, you've distilled this list in theory hammer over time. Meanwhile, I've
been waiting for Grenadiers to come down by a point.
Meanwhile, I've played 11 games. 9 of which with the Blood Angels. Sort of in the meantime, so to speak, or 8, so before this one, and it's funny because I've had Indomitus, which is going to be an influence on what I'm going to use because I'm going to build and paint it because it's what I wanted to play with, but I've become the meta just from playing other armies, the other blokes that we play with and that kind of thing. Whereas you've just been theory crafting because you've had
I've only had 3 games.
Yeah, you've only had 3 games. You've just not had the chance because you've been busy. And my army's evolved into exactly what you've designed your army to fight. So
I think your army is a very, taking into account Indomitus, a Primaris army that many players will end up facing. 90% of the units in your list will appear in 90% of other Primaris lists.
Yeah, massively so. The only difference.
Got some Incestors, got some Assault Incestors, got some Bites, got some Eradicators. Your flavour, your seasoning is Sangard, which are like pseudo Primaris, and Death Company and a Doredo. But that's like...
That could easily be a couple of tanks with firepower or whatever.
That could be a couple of aggressors or something like that.
I mean, it's one of those. The question that we asked is Krieg the solution to a Primaris meta? And the answer...
we believe is yes. Because Primaris do not have a lot of invulnerable saves.
And this army is performing, honestly, so well.
Yeah.
It's like picking up the primary. Now I've got the 3 Incestor squads plus the 2 Assault Incestors. A lot of the time I've been getting sort of 10 points for the primary on the second turn, then 10 points on the third turn, and then because all my other stuff's gone off by that point, it's then 15 maxed. I'm at 5 points over.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, I've been maxing primary and grabbing tons of secondaries, and this was just a total flip reverser. What it is. Your army is perfect for shooting down the new Indomitus Marines, and
it's anti-Primaris basically.
Yeah, it's really anti-Primaris. It really works. People are looking for anti-Primaris. When you guard as Krieg.
Just take as much plasma as you can.
And the AP Mans too on the infantry.
So what I would say, as Johnny pointed out with this list, is what I want to say is I often have a tendency, especially with my Mordians, because I love playing fluffy with my Mordians. I have a tendency to let's get the cat out of the shot. Hello, you. Ah, I know. I have a tendency with my Mordians to do bayonet charges, to get a bit carried away, get in amongst them. But what
said to me whilst we ran the, oh well, Krieg are basically a close combat.
I've never said they're a combat army. I've said they are a shooting army that isn't afraid of combat. That is Krieg.
Well, you were bloody afraid of combat this game, I can tell you that.
I didn't mind.
Backed up, you bloody fled, you bloody.
But
fear and cowardice.
My 2 favourite games, the last 10 games I've played across 8th and 9th, my 2 favourite have actually been one with my Black Templars and this one with my Krieg, because I didn't go...
Have you put a marking in your rulebook, by the way?
I don't know. I didn't go total bonkers. I played it kind of cagey, and I played it tactical, and it was nice to actually not just be like, oh, I'm going to bayonet charge it. It was nice to be like, right, actually I'm going to fall back here, move this here,
on the secondaries.
I'm going to fall back here, move this here. And what I think was the difference for me as a player, as my evolution as a player, is when it came down to that turn 2 and I was like, right, there's a captain here, and I could try and, move round and get him, but it was unlikely to happen. I mean, I ended up killing him in the end, but that's not the point of what I'm trying to say. Is I was like, you know what's better? To have less firepower this turn, to preserve my tanks and to play cagey, and that is what won me the game. I think
it's definitely the case with me as well. Like, I was hiding that captain back. I was happy for him to not get into combat until turn 3,
turn 4.
Even if I had to play cagey and literally have a rolling line of reserves going up to him, and then he killed 2 tank commanders turn 4 and turn 5, I won the game.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's just
But
it just wasn't to be. It was just
my luck was interesting.
The stratagem 2CP to fire all of that on max is ungodly. It's ungodly. I almost feel like because you fire with this twice, you should get 6 on the first, and the second shot
is randomised.
I almost feel like that. Like, it can't be. You just get it all. You know what I mean?
The caveat is you have to focus all the fire onto one target. That's the caveat. So, but to be honest, even in that situation, we ended up with it. It was so much overkill. I didn't even fire some of the guns. I only used that stratagem once, and all I used it on one was the bite.
Units. Like, the only reason he didn't flatten the Eradicators first turn was because they had a 5 up inbound and a 5 up feel no pain.
So I only used that stratagem.
No pain,
I only used it once. It was against those bikers, and it turned out to be a way to 2CP, to be honest. But
no, but he's just good. And
you mean plasma executioners in general?
Plasma executioners in general are great.
They're the new meta.
The 2CP lets them do anything.
Yeah. Like, if you're not playing Krieg, you could either play Catachans, you can re-roll the random number of shots.
And you never get. You got like 2 more. You overcharged with like all the plasma, all the time, every shot. You rolled high on your generation of hits consistently, or solidly, consistently. all the way through.
Actually,
and you've got like two.
I don't agree with it anyway.
You only got two overcharge. Two.
Yeah, well, everyone was rerolling ones because I like to spend a CP each turn for the extra order, for extra tank order.
It's such a solid combination. 5 tanks, 100 Krieg.
What I actually found was
brutal.
On a lot of my vehicles, I would say, let's say 15 rounds of shooting with vehicles, 5 of them were above average and 10 of them were like 6 or 5. And where it then came back was when I was like, every single turn my mortars were like 10 shots. They were super consistent. And then on my Overwatch, I was getting pretty good on my Overwatch.
I mean,
I used it twice, but both times I used it, it was pretty important.
I mean, you know, rip Alexander Gabriel.
But that did actually, we weren't sure because he actually ended up getting you plus 10 points, didn't he, in the swing?
He did a massive, he pushed all your tanks back, which kept me alive, but I'd rather, I mean, that was not...
It also keeps you alive when my tanks are dead.
But yeah, exactly. If I killed the tanks, I would have been more alive. It's just a tough game for me.
Anyway, we'll call it there, guys. If you want to hear more about our analysis, not just of this game, because obviously we've been over this game a bit, we'll go through a bit more detail.
Analysis on 9.
If you want a first impression of 9s, we've got 15 games between us under our belt. Johnny's got a little bit more experience than me, but I've got a good feeling for it now. I like that a lot of my theory crafting is starting to play out in the real world, which is great. Then head over and watch the Voxcast.
Bring my Tau and you'll be like, oh, I've got my pure infantry list, so none of your hammerheads will do anything.
No, I think this may be my go-to list for a while.
I think
until I've got more Mordians painted up where I can feel where I'm not limited by my unit selection. This is going to be a good list for me. Not necessarily. Well, you won't face it.
Give him hell in the comment section, guys. Yeah. He's not a Mordian anymore.
So if you want to hear more, what I want to say is head over to Johnny's channel after this. It'll be put up soon after this video. It will be a Voxcast.
Or if you just like Blood Angels or Imperial Armies or Dark Elder.
Exactly.
Like
but it's Schola Progenium, link down below. A couple of other shout outs in case anyone is curious. The MDF terrain. This MDF terrain is from P-Work War Games. So is the battle mat is from Deep Cut Studios, and the crates are from GameMat.eu. I also do occasionally get some questions about the turrets. These were from Cromlech. Sadly, they don't sell these old school Lehman Russ turrets anymore. But good news, guys, they've replaced them with turrets that look even cooler. And if you're ever looking like,
just go online now and buy 3 plasma turrets. Don't question it. Don't think about it.
I think they're €6.99 each.
Just literally,
just do it.
Just do it.
Well, do it.
Just do it.
Do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Sorry. Other couple of shout outs. I want to say thank you to
go home, hurry up.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to Killer Kriesman for painting up the officers for this army with the snow bases, and the marshals look absolutely fantastic.
A big fuck you to whoever sent him.
Guardsman Varney, who sent me all these
Fuck you, Guardsman Varney.
Fuck you.
You're not welcome.
And the paint job, I'll go into this on next week's Mordian Mondays, but the paint job for the regular Krieg infantry was done by a commissioned painter called the Geekery, Ian Brown. Absolute mad lad, painted 100 Krieg infantry in 2 days.
Right, so that's the thing.
I paid for my victory.
Yeah, that's it. If you want to even add more to the argument that 10 points for having a painted army is a ridiculous and stupid thing, it's the fact that they were like, you know, it's like...
You can just pay someone to do it.
You can just pay someone for the 10 points. I based these guys...
But yeah, just so... Yeah, exactly. So...
Like, oh yeah.
So I'll tell you what...
Patreon money.
Well, that was it, the Patreon money. I like the patrons to know where the money's going. It went into commission painting. These guys here, like I said, Ian Brown did it in 2 days. The guy's an absolute mad lad.
Patronised them, raise some cash and get revenge, and you're a blood angel, and get in touch.
Get in touch.
No, I might just do it. I'm free so far, but
it's really, I have to be tempted not to just sink a second mortgage into commission painting. But what I love about
once you've had that taste of
it's so difficult because this is the last thing I'm going to say, because we've been chatting for a couple of bars with a battery.
We should probably have this as the...
We will do, but what I would say is, what I love about commission painting is simply that I can work on the models that I love, like my Mordians, with no pressure on my other projects. I can do 2 projects at once. So basically there's two Mordian glories out there now on terms of the painting progress. So absolutely fantastic. So
on Baal we raise our own.
Yeah, well, on Krieg we clone people, so it's fine.
So true.
And without further ado, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us lots and lots of feedback, and we'll see you guys next time.